Oi oi, Matt here, and we are going back to my roots with this setup. So if you didn't know, I originally had a Makita belt and pouch setup when I first started as an electrician apprentice. Absolutely loved it. I worked it into the ground and I figured let's go back and see what they're up to now. This is the whole new setup that I've got. So here's how I wear it. It's right on my hip. My hip is right there. Some people like it up higher. I'm not a big fan of that. And obviously some people wear it a lot lower, sort of under the hips, almost held on by either their other belt, or I guess they just wear it quite tight. I find it sits nicely right on my hips. And you can see that this style of belt, which is padded, we'll show you that in a minute, is sort of the size of a lifting belt. So it is a little bit larger compared to your basic belts. I'm not going to say too much about the comfort at the moment. I've only been wearing it for the last hour fully decked out. So obviously over time, while you're working, it's going to be a lot different. But at the moment, it is very comfortable. It's a lot more comfortable compared to my last belt, which was the real basic one. No padding in it. And really, I'm happy with how it's sitting. We'll have a look at the features. On the front, you've got all these buckles. Some of these will be used for suspenders, and after putting it out on social media and having the same thoughts, I do think I will go get these suspenders. Wanted to give it a quick trial without them and then upgrade if needed. Back to the buckles, I do like having the high one there. If I do get the suspenders, I'll probably have to put them down there, which I don't know if I'll run with because they'll be bouncing around a lot. But these are just all my bit holders for all my bits and pieces. These are actually all sold on addictedtotools.com. I also keep the magnet on there. So a lot of people don't like the noise and the dangling and the jangling of all those. So I actually like to put my magnet there. It keeps them all together. And then when you need your magnet, you can just grab it off and away you go. And on the other side, we've got the tape. So usually people use the one down here, this one here. I think that just sits a little bit too low and too far back for myself to be grabbing it quick enough anyway. This is actually the tape holder off the Vito bags. So just throw that on there. You can throw anything you want, clip it back on. And at the moment I have the Sparky Mate, which is for cutting out GPOs. So I just clip it in there. You also do have an extra buckle there that it comes with. The more the better. I love more accessories, but that's about it for the actual belt itself. Next up, the Ultimate Electricians tool pouch. You can see it's pretty decked out. It is a lot larger compared to your Vito TP3B. It's probably more like your TP4 or 5B. So a lot larger, a lot of extras on the front there, and a very deep hole, if you can see that right there. So let's go through how I've set this up. On the front here, so I can get to it quite quick, are the pliers. They're my main go-tos. At the moment, I'm using the NWS one. Absolutely love them. They are the 225s. Don't get them mixed up with the 200s. I don't like the 200s too much, a little bit too small, but these 250s are some of the best out there at the moment. Real cheap, 50 bucks. We won't go through the tools too much, I guess, guys, but I've also thrown the flush cuts, the Knipex on the front. As you can see, these little elastic holders are fantastic for little things like that. How good is that? I've also got some pens on there. You can fit a couple in there. I've got my tracer pencil. Sits in there nicely. The clip on that has gone, so hopefully that does stay. And then we've got the Unilight, the IL925R. That's flat at the moment. I've got to charge it, but that sits in there nice. As you can see, this is actually like an extra loop. Just sort of sits on the front. We'll take these out so you can see that. And what a lot of people are doing is they'll throw all their pliers. We'll take that off as well. And you can just really load them up. Just sits there. They do dangle, I guess, but realistically they do stay there. Quite easy to get in and out. You can throw it in with ease. At the moment, I'm not running it like that. As you can see, I've got my knife and I just clip it onto these little ones here. I'm guessing these are for your little bits, your little drill bits you can put in there. This you could throw in there a little bit fiddly, but it'll hold a few. And it is quite tight. I don't know how long that elastic lasts. So if anyone's used this bag, let me know if the elastic starts to go on them. It can be fiddly. But at the moment, I'm just clipping my knife onto it like that. You've obviously got the belt clip. For myself, it is a little bit too far down and out of the way. That's why I've chosen to put it on the other side, but we'll cover that in a second. But then just in here, I've got a whole pile of loops. So it's good to be able to throw all these into any of those. I like to keep these down low and they're not falling out readily. Got the little Pico finish. They fit in there nicely. Then we've got some more loops here. Just got my needle nose. And on the back, we have my side cutters. These are the NWS as well. Usually I am carrying my Knipex ones, but have no idea where they have gone. So this back pocket, it's all padded. It's very thick. Fits in there nicely. Then on the back, you've got these elastic loops everywhere. And it's actually quite handy. So I'm just putting that in there. That's for access panels. Throw it on that one. You've got a few around. Actually, that fits nicely right in there. Accessible, but actually not going anywhere. Then you've got a middle pocket. So I'm just putting my level and also my gyprock saw. And I've just made this. If you guys didn't know, I've started 3D printing a few bits and pieces. So this is the first prototype, but it's a sheath for your Milwaukee blade. And I put some of these like Christmas tree style bits there, just so when you put it in, it's not going to pull out the whole thing. So if I pull it, and it'll stay in there. Other than pulling it out like that every time and then having to remove it. So I either put it in there, or there is another pocket that it fits nicely in. And that way, one-handed, you've got to do something, you can put it back in quite easily. Probably take some practice. But yeah, hit me up if you're chasing anything like that. Thinking about selling them, don't know yet. But yeah, in trial stages of that. And then in this pocket, I've got my brand new Bosch electric screwdriver. This is my first one. And that fits nicely in there. If you push it down enough, it's actually hard to get out. So it's not falling out, which is what I was worried about. I'm not sure what you would usually use that for. Whether it's a gyprock saw, that's probably the way to go. If you're chasing something like that, I'd rather put that there, put the screwdriver in there. Just trialing it out, it is really good. So you can grab that out. I can grab one of my bits, throw it in, and away you go. Have not used this at all. It's brand new out of the packet. I think they cost, what was it, $84 from Sydney Tools. Not a bad little buy. I'm gonna see how it goes. We're gonna trial a few other electric screwdrivers in the future. So hit me up with any that are worthwhile trialing. But yeah, I like that it's just sitting there. You got your bits in there. I can change it over to, let's say, a long one. Throw it in there, and away you go. And then last but not least, we have the drill in the pocket there. I have the drill that goes into that really deep pocket. I've also got conduit cutters in there. I couldn't find anywhere else to put those, so they're just thrown in there. You do have a couple more elastic bits in there, so you could realistically throw in your screwdrivers. I don't know. Yeah, that actually works. You could throw most of your gear in there actually. How much room we got? Let's go. It's a little bit hard to get in and out, so that's not going to be my gig. We throw that in there though. That way you could have your gyprock saw in there if you wanted. It is a very large pocket, so as you can see, you can fit your whole drill in there. When I did pick up the kit, I wasn't sure whether to get the drill holster or not, because I really did want something to put my M12 into. But realistically, I wasn't sure if I'd even use that deep pocket. So at the moment, that just sits in there perfectly, which is fantastic. Saved a little bit of money. I did put it out there. Quite a few people said that the holster sort of bangs on your knee or your leg a lot. So we might give that a miss at the moment. We will get the suspenders, I do think. But at the moment, that fits in there perfectly. I cannot say much more about that. Love the pouch so far. Let's have a look at the fixings pouch. So this is the fixings pouch. It has got a zip, And then you've got the button there so you can leave it open, which is a really good little extra. You've obviously got the tape measure clip on it, which is good, and you've got another buckle. So I love that they've thought about a few things and just thrown those extras on. What I probably will be using this for is just throwing 413s in, GPOs, throw all your fixings in there, just anything, even rubbish. We might use it for rubbish. And I almost forgot, we have got my Fluke meter on there. That is the T6 1000 Pro. So that actually fits on there quite nicely. I just threw that in. That's not part of the Makita belt setup. So that just sits in there like that. Pack it up, bit of Velcro, fits on there nicely. I'll run through another way that I've worn my belts in the past, as they do start to, I guess, annoy my hips quite a lot, which is why I want to go to the suspenders this time. And this is how I've run it in the past. Even my Vito, as you can see, I've done a post about that a long time ago, where I've got the strap, shoulder strap, which I put around there, sits there nicely. You can throw it around the back, and you also have the handle, which is really good. So this is how I did end up running my Makita belt in the past, obviously without the suspenders. So it is quite comfortable when you do this as well, because you have got the extra padding, but it does sit quite nice. I do like a lot of this. Let me know how you guys roll with your pouches. Do you have them low, high, right on your hip, or do you wear it as a shoulder? I know a lot of guys wear them as a shoulder strap like this. It's just easier as well. Rather than having to unclip it, you can just take that off, get rid of your hat, and you can just throw it back on rather than clipping it on and off. If you're on the go, having it taken on and off, that's the way a lot of us do it. Nice and easy, you can get to it. I do like it a little bit higher, because when you have it like this, I guess a little bit hard to get to that, but we'll see how this works. Another quick one is, if you don't have your pliers in that front pocket, your hammer does fit in there quite nicely. It's not banging around, and realistically, it's probably almost meant for it. So it sits in there nicely. Let's see if it goes in the back one. Yeah, it's the same size. So you can have that in the back. You still have your pliers. No worries for you guys that actually use hammers and don't just use your pliers. So hit me up, guys, about my setup, critique it, let me know how I can make it better. Whether you've been running the same sort of setup, the same bag, the same belt for a while, and if you've seen problems, you've loved it or hated it. I'm gonna be running this for the next 6 months. We've just got a large job we're about to start, and it's gonna be full on. So hopefully this comes in handy and I'm able to put it through its paces and give you an update in 6 months. Until then, stay addicted to tools.